Hey guys, in this video I'm going to replace the lean burn controlled carburetor on this 87 Gran Fury with one that is not lean burn controlled, because we don't like lean burn. This car does not run very well at all. So anyway, I did an original introduction earlier, but it was washed out by the wind and stuff, so I'm redoing it. So let me show you what I did to get this thing running better. So what this car has is just a regular old 318 roller cam engine. It's nothing special. It's got a 2-barrel carburetor on it, and it's, like I said, it's got lean burn on it. So basically what lean burn is it is just a computer control of the carburetor mixture and the ignition timing advance and timing curve, and it's all designed for emissions and gas mileage. So it was conceived to make the car run as lean as possible and use as little gas as possible. And what it ended up doing was, number one, it became failure prone because the computer is that box right there on the side of the air cleaner, and they probably couldn't have designed a worse place to put an engine control computer besides putting it right over where the exhaust manifold in the engine is with all that heat. So they're known to fail and give trouble like that. And then the police cars didn't have that located there. The police car version of this car kept them inside, and that's where that one should have been. I don't know why they didn't do that, but sorry for the wind noise. But anyway, the rest of it is just really a basic analog type system. It has a computer, and then it has an oxygen sensor in one of the exhaust manifolds, and then it has a distributor, which is totally computer controlled. It's no vacuum advance. And then it has a carburetor, which has a mixture control solenoid in it, which is controlled also, of course, by the computer, and has a coolant temperature sensor somewhere. And I don't even think this one has a throttle position sensor. It's a very crude system. So suffice to say, it's not a good system by design, and 30 years onward it's not gotten any better. And this carburetor, this is called a Holley 6280, which we'll take a closer look at that in a little bit when we get this one off here. And the parts for that are no longer really available. And besides that, this thing is like an old Volvo. It's like, has no check engine light. There's no way to pull codes out of it. So if anything goes wrong with this lean burn, as far as like it's staying in open loop when it shouldn't, or the power transistor in it goes bad and quits running the carburetor, you don't really know that unless you decide to try to troubleshoot it with a dwell meter and things like that. So it's just a bunch of, like my dad would say, it's a bunch of horse this day and age. So there are people that claim to love these, and they say their car runs better and gets better mileage, and they can get 22, 23 miles per gallon with it. That may be the case, but I don't have any affection for them. So we're going to take our surgical tools and we're going to remove this carburetor and get it away from this car and bring this thing back to health, because it just does not run very well at all. It bucks and stumbles, and about the only thing it does fairly well is it starts easy and it idles good, and that's about it. You try to do anything else as far as like acceleration, and there isn't any. So anyway, enough talking, let's get busy. Well, I've taken only 2 of the fasteners off this carburetor to hold it down, and it's already doing that. That ain't good. That might be your problem. One of them. Wait a minute. I knew something was missing off this video. There we go. Perfect. Shut up! Fucking dog, shut up. Get out of here. Big you. Just kidding, no thanks. Alright, one bolt left. Well, it's weird because looks like there's 2 nuts and 2 bolts I hold this carburetor on, but they are diagonal, which means one stud with a nut on it is at the right front up here, and the other one's at the left rear. Figure that one out. All right, moment of truth. We've identified the problem. We're about to remove the problem. There you go. Oh, it's terrible glory. Okay, we're going to get this one over on the truck, and then we're going to compare it to the new one. Okay guys, let's take a quick look at these 2 carburetors. This is the one I just pulled off. This is the 6280, and as you can see, it's got the kick-up solenoid for the idle, and this looks like a basic carburetor. The only big difference is, besides this electrically operated vent that's on it, that this one over here doesn't have, is that you see these 2 wires running into the side of it right there. Those are for the mixture control solenoid. So these actually, this one is cut on this, but I did that, and the reason why I did that was because that it was actually, the terminal was, whoops, spilling some gas down my truck. I hope I don't damage my paint. The terminal was actually pulled out of this connector and taped to the side of it, so they'd been trying to do a workaround on this thing already, but didn't work. But otherwise, if you look at these, they're basically the same, except that this one has got I've got to transfer this you can see there, I've got to transfer this arm for the linkage over. I've got to get this thing swapped over to this one. It goes there. This carburetor looks rusty, I know, but it's just been freshly rebuilt, stem to stern. I've got to swap over this kick-up solenoid. If you look on the back, all the ports are the same on the back. And I see one that's not the same, is it? Yeah, I'm gonna have to find that one. Anyway, we'll have to deal with that. But so we're gonna work on that. This one has a port for the this is for the distributor advance vacuum, the timed port for the distributor. This one didn't even have a place for it, so anyway, but otherwise they're very, very similar, so they should interchange just fine. Like I said, this one is a 2280, this one's a 6280. Only difference is this has got electronic controls on it. So we're going to put this on. We got a brand new base plate gasket. The base plate gasket says down on one side of it, so make sure you put it down. All right, guys, get busy. Okay then, so where we're at with this is I came in here and had to do some work on these 2 carburetors because I ran into a problem with the base plates. Remember in the other part of this video I showed you this, and I looked back here and said, that's missing a large port. It's the one actually for the PCV line. It's supposed to go in right there. Well, there's no large port on that one. So I had to take that base plate off, and my idea was just to go ahead and use this base plate, the one that came off the 6280 that was on the car already. And that would work just fine. Everything transfers, it bolts right on, no problem, except that it was missing a vacuum passage right there. You see where I've marked with a Sharpie? It's supposed to be a vacuum passage in there that goes, flip this thing over, it goes, supposed to come right into right there. It don't, so it doesn't. So I have to put one in. So I'm going to have to take a drill bit and drill that out, but it's no big deal. It doesn't have to be super precise, just as long as when you put the gasket back over it in place, it's got a port where it's supposed to have a port. So we got to have that because that goes into something internal in the carburetor. I thought it might be either the line on the side there for the timed vacuum port or something like that, but I think that's quite important. I think that's either to the power valve or maybe to the power valve. So got to be there. So we got to use it. So we got to drill it. So let's drill it. Okay then, done. Looks like we landed in the right spot. Everything should be good to go. I know that gasket looks rough, but I don't care. We're going to reuse it. It's the only one we got. Yep. It'll work. All right, clean that thing up with some spray. Put it together. Well, unfortunately, in the space of 2 hours, the weather has turned 180 degrees on us. Started to rain, got cloudy, like it so often does here in the South. So, anyway, we will get this thing finished up in part 2, I guess, guys. We'll see you then. Okay, so this carburetor is ready to go on. Somebody mentioned selected some parts off the old original carburetor to put on this one that were in better physical and aesthetic condition. So I did, like I said, reuse the base plate here just to save time. I had to drill the hole I told you about, and I think that's it. Still saddled with these plugs have been removed off these idle mixture screws, so they can be adjusted, but they've got these recessed kind of hex head screws, I guess, Allen screws, whatever you want to call those, and so it's going to make it more of a pain, but otherwise should be good to go. So let's go ahead and plop this thing on there, shall we? All right, then, everything is back together and connections are all made, and I got gas up to the carburetor, so figure we'd kick it over and see what happens. I've spun it a little bit to see if I had any leaks, and the fuel line is questionable. It's just a little damp, so I may have to go back in there and seal that. It's like they always come loose, they never did leak, and then you ever take them loose and go to put them back on, it's nothing. So it's always going to drip. So we'll watch that, but let's see if we can even get it to start here. Yep, got a little drip going there. Let's check that out. Okay, so this thing's all together. Sorry for the wind. The wind always blows up here. I got to get a backyard, I guess. But anyway, I just had to screw around with the fuel line for a long time to get it to quit leaking. But I think I got that wrapped up. So seems to be running pretty good. Started right up. So. Give it a response test. Test its response to the accelerator, shall we? We'll whack the throttle a few times and see how it does. That's pretty good to me.